Godspeed You Black Emperor is the greatest band of all time. That's just how it is. I'm gonna make my webcam a little bit bigger because the resolution is really bad. So hopefully, because of that, things won't be lagging really badly. I'm doing this in MS Paint because my brain is tiny and can't actually move the things. So anyway, the month of March has passed, but who really cares? We're looking at Godspeed You Black Emperor April Aggression bracket. I guess I got to move it in OBS. That's not very fun. Anyway, there we go. It's the April Aggression bracket, baby. It's never over. Just because I was a little bit late doesn't mean I can't do it. So, Godspeed You Black Emperor. I broke it up into about let's see, 24 songs. So I can scroll down here and that'll give us the other quadrant there. Those are the two left quadrants, you know. And might I add, I did all of these by random number generator. I had them pick, just order them randomly, then I put them in here. So I was not intending for any matchups to happen like they did. I was not intending for any matchups to end up not like they did. So, if you have an issue with the matchups, then, you know, I guess too bad. Here you can see on this side what we have. Um, just looking ahead, this one's gonna be absolute hell. Um, but that's the fun. And once again, it is extremely funny that Sleep got a bye. Anyway, there we go. So there's the base bracket. We're gonna just start at the top left, as you do. Uh, so moving my cam is going to be a pain, but this is kind of what I get for having such an absolutely ramshackle way of doing things. Um, so here we go. Time to start the deliberation. I'm gonna break in some red pen. I'm gonna test it out. Yep, that's pretty thick. We can go thicker. Yeah, that's better. That's better. So we're gonna do first. Anthem for No State gets a bye, which is a little bit interesting because honestly, it probably would have lost in first round had it not been a bye. I think it would have lost to either 915 2000 or MF or equals Redeemer. Once again, I'm doing this for you, you know, future employers. So, for our first real match is between 915 2000 and MF or equals Redeemer, and that's two Yankee UXO songs, and I really like that album. I think it's probably my fifth favorite Godspeed You project, but my least favorite Godspeed You project is still an eight. Um, anyway, yeah, both are fantastic. I like that 915 2000 almost feels like it's a little bit out of tune. It's really weird. I'm a big fan of that. I'm grouping the part twos in with the original songs, and I really, really enjoy the continued of that. Both of them are absolutely fantastic. MF or equals Redeemer has one of my favorite Godspeed You riffs. It's like bum gun 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 gun. How it just keeps going down. Oh, I love that. Um, Hold on, no, that's Rockets Fall and Rocket Falls. Oh, MF equals Redeemer also has one of my favorite Godspeed riffs. Bunga da 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 da. And yeah, the continue to that is also a fantastic closer of the album. Um, and I, oh man, I'm just thinking about this because uh both of these are really, really fantastic songs. And of course, both are including the part twos, and both of the part twos are fantastic songs. Um, I think I prefer uh, MFer. I think I prefer MFer. Let's take that on. Next match, like Antennas to Heaven and Undoing Luciferian Towers. Come on, do we need to talk about this? I mean, look, no matter how obvious the choice it might be, it's a we should talk about it. Undoing Luciferian Towers is a really cool song. It almost has a little bit of a jazzy feel to it, which is something that Godspeed You had never done before this. And I really like the introduction of the horns. I think it's a nice introduction to the album. However, like, just being, like, really good or pretty good is not enough when you're up against the Lift Your Skinny Fists track. It's not enough when you're up against a 10 out of 10 track. Like Antennas to Heaven is the second weakest track off Lift Your Skinny Fists, and it's a perfect 10. It's a perfect closer. Come on now. If you've listened to that track, like, first off, Moya sings Baby O. Shout out to you, Mike Moya. Um, I was yelling at you at the Minneapolis show. I love you, Moya. So I was the guy doing that. If you're wondering. Anyway, yeah. Just how it starts with almost this moment of levity after Sleep, which is, well, Sleep is not like hopeless. It's certainly not just devoid of any happiness. I think it's quite a melancholic song. We'll get to that later. But then it gets to the and that's the bass part. You got like the screwdriver guitar going. Woo! No, I can't do that falsetto. Then boom, and it's just unbelievable. Like the moment where it transitions from the just kind of the slower part before that into that part, it almost breaks into it, is one of the best moments on the entire album. So it was never really a question what's happening there. And East Hastings also gets a bye. So instead of just finishing the quadrants on their own, I'm going to do them one tier at a time. So next, the two byes are Piss Crowns Are Trembled. Is pumping her fists right now because this would not have made it further. That's the only way. She loves this song. I don't know why. Fire at Static Valley also gets a bye. That would have lost against either of those. So it's going to get cream next round anyway. But at least it got to make it one round further. So our first real match here is We Drift Like Worried Fire versus Providence. Oh, that is so hard. That's so hard. Most Godspeed You fans would hit Providence and not even think about it. Most Godspeed You fans also are losers who only like listen to the first two Godspeed You albums because they don't realize that the rest of the catalog is also godlike. We Drift Like Worried Fire is amazing. It's such a just deeply emotional track. Yeah, it's really incredible. But Providence is all like thinking about Providence is like I think it's safe to say that it's the weakest off F sharp because it wasn't designed in the same way as the other tracks off F sharp. And that's something I only found out when I bought F sharp on vinyl. Providence was not originally a track on that album. It was side one, Dead Flag Blues, side two, East Hastings, and that was the album. And both of those tracks had parts of Providence sprinkled into them. So in the end, like, what you see on streaming or later kind of, CDs or whatever, they took out certain parts of Dead Flag Blues and East Hastings and put them into their own track. So Providence sounds a little bit disjointed because of that, but it's still incredible. And I actually think Dead Flag Blues and East Hastings are better off having those bits removed. I think it's better on streaming than on vinyl, which is a rare occurrence. I would love to get another copy on vinyl that is a streaming version, but those don't exist. So hopefully one day it'll happen because I'd love to have Providence on vinyl too. Must be added, Providence does also have about 7 minutes of silence or something. That doesn't really bother me when it's the last track of the album. If it was track 2 of 3, then it just had 10 minutes of silence and you're forced to listen to it to get to the end, I would have been pissed. But because it's the last track on the album, you can just turn it off at that point. And of course I wouldn't. Because I want to get to the end. But anyway, yeah, We Drift Like Worried Fire is incredibly strong. But I think Providence is probably stronger. I'm just, trying to conjure up like all the bits of We Drift Like Worried Fire in my head. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, no, that whole, oh, holy moly. That's, yeah, okay, okay. Just remembering what the main riff sounded like just conjured up, it's added a whole nother wrinkle to this discussion. And then they go bongo, bongo. It almost sounds like a Legend of Zelda, when you're fighting an enemy and the music comes on. So, um, that's really difficult. But I think that Providence takes it. Just barely. Providence is amazing. We Drift Like Worried Fire is also amazing. And, what can I say? All right, the random number generator saw fit to, give us the first two tracks off Lift Your Skinny Fists against each other, which is a bold move. Storm and Static. Once again, Lift Your Skinny Fists is the greatest album of all time, and both of these are 10 out of 10 tracks. However, to me, the choice here is kind of obvious. One of these is the weakest song on the album. And hint, it's not Storm. Static having that like about 5 minutes of just the feedback and cymbals is that's the weakest point on the album. And because of that, Static is the weakest song. Like the ending kind of bit to Storm is amazing. I love it's like I don't know the welcome to Arco AM/PM mini market, and then it's saying like we advise you if anyone tries to pump gas for you, don't let them because they're not employees. That almost like suggests that there have been incidences of just random people offering to pump gas, and that's really creepy. That's like some horror game stuff. If like only after someone does it, you realize they're just like some random guy, and they're like just looking all around in your car and like all that. I don't know, but to me that ending part's really creepy and I like it a lot. And then of course you have the piano kind of fragmented weird also creepy bit after that, which I love. So yes, Storm does have a kind of strange disjointed finale, but it's incredible and it adds to the track. Statics does not. Anyway, let's discuss the main bodies of the track, the part that most people care about, because they're very similar in quality. Storm is unbelievable. When the drums come in and Gathering Storm is like one of the most euphoric moments in music. It's just unbelievable, and that's just how it keeps building up and up and up, and then oh man, how it switches to, like the Amazing Grace riff, and they're just soaring. It's just unbelievable. It's really incredible stuff. And then you have the build up where it just lasts for like 2 minutes. You're just sitting on the edge of your seat begging for release. And they finally get into that groovy bass of them. Boom, 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 boom. Well, that sounds more like Job's Lament, but you know what I'm talking about. Just incredible stuff. That song is unbelievable. And Static is so creepy, man. It's so eerie. I remember, taking a walk listening to this album, just walking around to Static made me feel like I was in a horror movie. Like I was just looking behind me, like expecting to see like a shadowy figure. It's really creepy, and I like the monologue by the religious lady is just perfect for the track, and just the oh man. I had a dream once where that the violin bit and there's just the whole bit was just playing in my dream, and I woke up and I was thinking about it, and because of that, it's just forever linked to that dream. But that is one of my favorite Godspeed You bits ever. I forget the name of the movement, but the bum gung gung gum bum dun 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 dun. It's unbelievable. It's such an atmosphere, and then it gets into the really once again kind of groovy bass and boom gung gung boom gung 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 gung. Then it builds up and it kind of hits this stride, and then it just keeps building up. The one that just really gets fast and heavy at the end is amazing. Yeah, really incredible song. It's just, I mean, it shows the quality of the album that these two songs are both tens, and yet one is better, like, significantly than the other. So let's stop deliberating and just give it to Storm. All right. Oh, now this one. Here's a little funny thing. I gotta I gotta move my OBS for this one. So I how he all right. Um. So there are a few gimme. There are actually everything is a gimme here, but let's discuss it anyway. BBF3 getting a bye is just kind of come on, man. BBF3 was gonna win whatever matchup it had anyway. It didn't need a bye. Well, almost any matchup. Moya versus our side to has to win. Our side has to win. Actually, really clicked with me a few days ago, and it's a beautiful closer. It's absolutely wonderful. But Moya, come on, man. It's Moya. It's so unreal. And that almost Modest Mouse lifelike weeds like, riff gets me every time. And also the ba da 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 and then boom boo 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 boo. That's the lifelike weeds like one. Um it's just unbelievable, and how it builds up this once again. I mean, Godspeed used first three albums, the first two albums on EP, I should say, really have a lot of just creepy value to them. And this song is just a prime example of that. It's so dark. A lot of people describe Godspeed You as being like a post-apocalyptic. Sure, let's go with that one. Bands. And yeah, I see it, but I see it most clearly on this EP. Like, just I was thinking about it last time I was listening to On the Road, and it was raining so hard I thought I was gonna die. Slow Riot for Zero Canada almost feels like you're walking through a city after like a thermobaric bomb hit, and just everything has been turned to glass. It almost feels like you're walking through Pompeii and you're seeing just all of these, statues that used to be people. It's it's so eerie and yet beautiful and just messed up. Moya wins easily over a song that is great, which, of course, this match is going to be hell. Um, Rockets Fall on Rocket Falls versus Peasantry or Light Inside of Light. Peasantry or Light Inside of Light is pretty good. There we go. Um, it's pretty good. Rockets Fall on Rocket Falls is amazing. And there you go. There's the matchup. Rockets Fall and Rocket Falls. It's really, really difficult for me to decide which of the main three tracks on Yankee UXO is the best one. Um, they're all amazing. They're all really fantastic. And they all have just bits to them that make me love them. I think if I had to rank them, it would probably be Rockets Fall and Rocket Falls, MF equals Redeemer, 09, 15, 2000. And, obviously Rockets Fall and Rocket Falls is going to wipe. Then, oh, that's going to be a hell of a matchup. All right. Sleep getting a bye. Come on, man. Did it really need that? Yeah. Well, whatever. We have Job's Lament versus Boss's Hang. And both of these clicked for me at the live show I went to. So, by the way, as I was positioning my hands there, it's a good moment to, you know, you can't see it from this angle. It has to be, that, but it's the lift your skinny fist hands if you're wondering, and you probably were wondering because you don't live inside here, which is really unfortunate for you. This place is awesome. Anyway, Job's Lament and Boss's Hang both clicked for me at the live show, and I adore both. By the way, Job's Lament is counting Last Glaciers, and the military alphabet. So it's the whole string of tracks. So of course, Boss's Hang 1, 2, 3. Boss's Hang is awesome, but I mean, Job's Lament, the main track there, the Job's Lament is just so good, and especially seeing it live, the way it builds is just magical. You know, one of my favorite moments is when just the chunking guitar comes in, and that is insane. Especially when they start hitting the drums when it releases. It's unbelievable. So big shout out to Job Clement. I think Job Clement has to win. Although the slides, I preferred the slideshow they had for Bosses Hang. It was a really beautiful. And also, Bosses Hang. I can't comment. Um. Anyway, uh, this is this sucks. Mladic versus Dead Flag Blues. If Mladic had been in any other quadrants of the thing here, it would have cleaned up. Mladic is incredible. Mladic has like three of Godspeed U's best riffs of all time. And it might have their, no, it's not their best riff, but it might have like their second best riff of all time or third best. Because I think the other track here might have their second best. But the bum dum dum bum ba dum dum dum, like that's just euphoric. And then of course the way it starts is so energetic. It's such a like I don't know if I'd say it's fun, but it feels good. It makes me want to speed in my car. It's so driving. Just and then it almost hits that all surf rock feel, which is really interesting. Melodic is incredible. Melodic is so good. Melodic is like top five Godspeed U tracks. However, we're up against a top two Godspeed U track. And it hurts to say, but Dead Flag Blues is like all kind of significantly better. Dead Flag Blues is unbelievable. Dead Flag Blues is just hard. It's so perfectly atmospheric. Dead Flag Blues is another one where I get why people say it's the album for the apocalypse. You know, it's so eerie and it's so dark and it's just so atmospheric. You just melt into the world of the song. And the guy going through the movie script at the beginning, it may just be a movie script, but it works so well for the song. It's amazing. Really incredible intro. Then it hits the train, which is, it just I like, how after the it just gets filled this weird reverb, this really eerie, cacophonous noise. It's really quite creepy. And then you come back and are saved from the kind of the depths by the and then it builds up to just this beautiful, once again the tremolo picked. It's just, oh man, yeah, that's one of the greatest songs ever made. That's probably like a top 10 or even top 5 song ever. So, you know, I gotta give it to it. All right. And now we can head back to the top left, which means gotta give him one of these. Yeah, there we go. So, I suppose I should like move it over here, then move my cam, huh? So what do we have going on? We have Anthem for No State versus MF for Equals Redeemer. Anthem for No State is awesome, man. People underrate that album so much. I'm looking at you, Joanna. That album rocks. You're wrong. Um, it's really underrated. But MF for Equals Redeemer is just the dun 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 dun. That's like that riff will genuinely stop you in your tracks and make you think, "Wow, that's incredible." So let's give it to it. We all know that was happening. East Hastings versus Like Intendance to Heaven is. I'm gonna have to figure this one out in runtime. I had like a chance to think about the rest of them. I did not think about this, and both of these are unbelievable. East Hastings, of course, used in 28 Days Later. Really cool application. East Hastings is kind of the poster boy of crescendo core. It literally just builds up until it can't, and then has you just sitting at the edge of your seat begging for release, and then they do, and then it hits you with like one of the most beautiful, like, um no, I was about to say found footage, but it's not found footage, field recording, like ambient pieces ever. I love the outro to that song just as much as the rest, to be honest. um so, but like Antennas to Heaven, once again, it's really hard to beat that part where it comes back in. Where not comes back in, where it comes in after the kind of the quieter intro. It has Moya sings Baby. Oh, has those kids speaking in French. Big shout outs to them. Hope they're doing well today. I think it's going to be really hard to put East Hastings above Like Antennas to Heaven. Um, but no, Like Antennas to Heaven wins. I love East Hastings, but and then let's just call it right now. Like Antennas to Heaven beats MFer. So I'm just going to remember that it's there. Hopefully you can too. So we have Providence versus Piss Crowns. Come on. Is a BDFO. Get owns. Storm versus Fire Static Valley. Fire Static Valley is a really cool kind of ritual ambient piece. However, BTFO. And then Storm sweeps. Oh, Lord. That's gonna. Okay, well, I'll save that discussion for later. You're gonna see what my favorite album of all time. Well, I actually already told you my favorite album of all time is. Okay, this is hell. Uh, this is really really hard. Moya versus BBF3. Oh my gosh, man. They complete each other. You can't listen to one without the other. They together they make the greatest EP of all time. It's like, you know, I'm trying to think of a good which like you can only pick one member of Daft Punk. Come on. It's like, you can only have either the hot dog or the bun. Ah, but I know my answer. BBF3. BBF3 is like top 3 Godspeed U tracks. BBF3 is unbelievable. And seeing it live cemented that for me. Seeing it live was an insane experience. And just, the guy on the projector was, fighting for his life, creating the greatest projector show I've ever seen. And just, you know, the titular BBF3 character in the song is, it just adds so much, and it's such a dark, and it really does feel apocalyptic. There we go. Just had to slow it down. Let's see if I can do it fast. Apocalyptic. There we go. We've mastered it. Um, it really gives that horrible, dark end of the world feeling, and and musically, let's not forget musically, it's incredible. When it goes, bum gong 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 gong, the boom gong gong, and it just changes that bass note behind that riff is like one of the most just rapturous moments in Godspeed You. So I'm taking BBF3. Um, to a sane person, none of these lines would mean anything, but we know who we're dealing with. Rockets fall on rockets fall. Rockets fall on rocket falls. Thank you for naming it that, Godspeed You. Very cool. Versus Cliff's Gaze. This one's gonna upset a lot of people. I think I'm gonna take Cliff's Gaze. Cliff's Gaze once again. Oh, Sam, shut up about your Godspeed You live show. No, Cliff's Gaze clicked for me at the live show. It was so insane. Well, actually, didn't even click for me at the live show. It clicked for me before the live show, and I was sitting outside for an hour and a half while there's no one else in line. I got there way too early, but I got there in time for the sound check. So this thing's ba dun dun dun. Ba dun dun dun, ba dun 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 dun, ba dun dun by the doors to the venue, and it was amazing. Um, so yeah, um, it clicked for me before the show even happened. And by the time it happened in the show, I was like, just purely engrossed. It was incredible. And of course, Government Came is amazing as well. Just how dark and eerie it is. That is like a song from hell. It's really, really just so grim. I'm gonna take Cliff's Gaze, and that might have upset a lot of people. But between these two, it's actually harder than I expected. I think Cliff's Gaze is the peak of that album, which is like a 9, whereas BBF3 is the peak of the album, which is a 10. It's close though. It's quite close. And now, come on, it can just skip all of them. For reference, in my opinion, Sleep is the greatest song of all time, and it might be the greatest piece of art of all time. But it's Anodyne 2 is close. But Sleep is the greatest piece of music ever made, and there's honestly, in my opinion, there's not even any competition. But let's talk about the rest, just just for the sake of doing it. Sleep obviously bodies Job's Lament so hard that Job's Lament might as well not exist. And Job's Lament's a great song. Dead Flag Blues destroys Fam Famine, so no Famine. That's a damn Daniel joke, if you're wondering. I'm sorry. I can't control what my brain does. Dead Flag Blues versus Sleep is actually it's interesting because these are my favorite two Godspeed Black Emperor tracks, but Sleep is still such in a league of its own that nothing else like even really compares. And that's not to disparage, Dead Flag Blues or any other Godspeed You track. It's literally because Sleep is the greatest song ever made and there's nothing even close. Sleep is like the perfect piece of art. Sleep is like God was in the studio that day, you know. So, anyway, um I meant to do Sleep over here and then Coming up because who knows, despite those comments, we don't know what's going to win. Um So let's just take a quick refresher. Over here, it's oh yeah, okay, yeah, that's cool. That's the font I wanted. So it's like Antennas to Heaven. Is Storm. Thanks, Microsoft Paint. Very cool. Bet you've never heard anyone call it Microsoft Paint. BBF3 and Sleep. Literally 3/4 of the final four are Lift Your Skinny Fists. But come on, did you expect anything else? Lift Your Skinny Fists is the greatest album of all time. Um, so we have Like Antennas to Heaven versus Storm. I think it's got to be Storm, right? I think it's got to be Storm. And this is more difficult than I thought it would be because as I've been doing this, I've been realizing how good Like Antennas to Heaven is. But I think Storm sweeps. I'm gonna change color. So I think it's gonna be Storm, and then Sleep beats BBF3 is just because it's Sleep. And I've discussed why BBF3 is so good for us, so I don't have to rehash that. And then Sleep beats Storm. So the champion, anyone who knows me saw this coming. It's Sleep. Sleep wins. Oh, I've really bunged everything up. Anyway, there we go. There's your Godspeed You April aggression bracket. It's literally just spaghetti. There's no way to interpret what this means unless you watch the video, um, which is cool. Uh, you gotta love that. Anyways, yeah, sleep wins. There was never a question it wouldn't. This is more just about the journey and figure out which tracks to like more. So if you want to do your own Godspeed You Black Emperor April aggression bracket, I'll throw a link in the comments to an image of this, and then you can do it on your own time. And then you can tell me what would win your Godspeed You Black Emperor April aggression bracket. And if it's not Sleep, well then you should reconsider your life decisions because Sleep is so obviously the best Godspeed You track. It's the best song of all time, for heaven's sake. So make sure that wins. But other than that, I would like to see. So thank you for watching. Thank you for this, letting me talk about my new favorite band of all time. And have fun this April. Be very aggressive.